Hey, Mrs. Smith. Mrs. Smith. Hello? Can you turn that music down for just a minute? I have a question. Hi. Can we add fractions today?
What?
Can we add fractions today?
Okay, let's do it.
Okay, well, I meant add fractions like right now? Together? You and me? Add some fractions? Right now? Oh, never mind. I got this. If you are adding or subtracting fractions with the same denominator, you just add the numerators in this case and use the same denominator. If you have 1/12 and somebody gives you 2 more twelfths, you'll have 3/12. But what happens when you have fractions without the same denominator? When you're adding halves and fourths, you can't add them the way they are. Halves and fourths are two totally different things, just like, say, kittens and puppies are two different things. And fractions are just as cute as puppies and kittens, too.
Meow. Woof, woof, woof.
Oh, so cute! Here's how you add fractions when they have unlike denominators. If you watched my video on finding equivalent fractions, you know that you can change fractions to look like other fractions. So in this case, we can change these fractions into something so that their denominators will be the same. That's called finding a common denominator. So we need to find a number that both 2 and 4 can go into so that we can change both fractions into an equivalent fraction with that as the denominator. A number that would work for both 2 and 4. I can use 4. So if I change 1/2 over to fourths, and then to do that, I need to multiply by a form of 1. So 2 times what gave me 4? 2. So I multiply the numerator by the same number. So it's 2 over 2. So 1 times 2 is 2. So now I have 2/4 plus 2/4. I don't even need to change the second one because I already have a common denominator. They're both fourths now. But I'm going to rewrite it over here anyway, just so I can line things up. Even though it's just the same, I didn't need to change it. Now I can add. I have fourths and fourths. So if I have 2/4 plus somebody gives me 2 more fourths, that's going to give me 4/4 when I put them all together. Ooh, and this is a tricky one because we also want to put the answer as simple as we can put it. And 4/4 is the same thing as, you got it, 1 whole. See? How cute is that? I told you fractions were super cute. Let's see if you love this one. You might already know what number 8 and 4 go into, so you already know what we can use for a common denominator. But if not, you can find something called the least common multiple. The LCM is the smallest number that they both have in common when you list the multiples. So if we didn't know what to use for a common denominator here with 8 and 4, we could list the multiples of each number and find a number that they both go into, because that's what we're looking for. A number that 8 and 4 will both go into, so we can change them over to the same denominator. So the multiples of 8 are 8, 16, 24, 32, and we just need to do a couple, and then we can go down to the other 2/4 and list the multiples of 4. So that's going to be 4, 8. Oh, look, we already found the smallest one they have in common. It's 8. The least common multiple is 8, so we can use that for our common denominator. Now there are other numbers we could use for a common denominator. There are lots of different numbers that 8 and 4 go into. Like we could use 16 or 24. You want to use the smallest number they can change into though, because that makes it easier on yourself. If you have a choice what you're going to change these fractions into, well then I think choose to make it as easy on yourself as you can. So try to choose the smallest number that you can to change them into. Just makes it easier on yourself, even though others would work too. 8 is the smallest number that 8 and 4 go into. We are going to change them over to eighths. So the first one already is eighths. I'm just going to rewrite it just so I can move it over. So 3/8. I didn't have to change it. It's always nice when you can use a denominator that you already have, because then you only need to change 1. I just need to change fourths now. So I'm going to change fourths over to eighths. So I'm going to multiply by 2 over 2. If my denominator is going to be twice as big, then my numerator will be twice as big. So 4 times 2 is 8. 2 times 2 is 4. So now I have 3/8 plus 4/8. I have a common denominator and I can go ahead and add. So if I have 3/8 and somebody gives me 4 more, that gives me 7/8. And it's the same process for subtracting fractions. Maybe Mrs. Smith will help us subtract fractions? Hey, will you help us subtract fractions?
You can subtract.
Okay, looks like we're on our own again. When we're subtracting fifths and thirds, of course the first thing we need to do is to find a common denominator. So to do that, you might already know what 5 and 3 both go into, but if you don't, we'll find the least common multiple by making a list of the multiples of 5 and the multiples of 3. The multiples of 5, if we count by 5s, that's what multiples are. Oops, not that. Are 5. If it'll let me keep it, let's try that again. 5. There we go. 10. 15. We're just going to do 3 or 4 and then see if we can use one of them. So, and actually I'm going to save us a little time here. So 20 would be the next one, but as I write these multiples of 5, I'm also thinking as I do it, if 3 would go into any of these numbers. So I'm not going to list the multiples of 3 this time, I'm just going to check. Will 3 go into 5? Nope. Will 3 go into 10? Nope. Will 3 go into 15? It will, so I know I can use 15. We're going to use 15 as our common denominator. So we're going to find an equivalent fraction with 15ths as the denominator for both of these fractions. 15ths for the denominator. Oops, I don't think it's going to let me keep that 5. Let's go this way. 15ths. I'm going to change 4/5 into 15ths, and I'm going to change 2/3 into 15ths so that they can have a common denominator. So now let's see how, so I know, oh, not that, not 0. Let's see if we can get our 5 back. It seems to have trouble keeping my 5s. One more try. Oh, yeah, but that one's not very pretty. Let me try again. Oh, that's better. Please, all right, one more. Please keep it. Please look like a 5. Yes. All right. So to change 4/5 into 15ths, I have to think about how I got from my 5 to the 15. So I multiply that by 3. So I'm going to multiply the numerator times 3. 4 times 3 is 12. Not sure if it'll let me keep this 2, hopefully. Yes. And then 2/3. I'm going to change into 15ths. So, however, if I made the denominator 5 times bigger in this case, because 3 times 5 would get me to that 15. So if I make the denominator 5 times bigger, I need to make the numerator 5 times bigger. So 2 times 5 is 10. All right, so far so good. So now we have 12/15ths minus 10/15ths. So if you had 12 fifteenths and then somebody took 10 of them, because you know, fifteenths are so cute, well then you would only have, let's see if I can get this right, 2 fifteenths. If you start off with 12 fifteenths and someone takes 10 of them, upsie, almost, then you're only going to have 2 of your fifteenths left. Nice job. I'm going to try to give you a star. Yes, nailed it. Thanks for joining me. Maybe next time Mrs. Smith will join us too. Until then, don't forget to subscribe to this channel so that you'll know when we post new videos. Have a good day.